It was a cold evening in London. The streets were filled with people rushing back home from work, their footsteps echoing on the wet pavements. The city was alive, cars honking, buses roaring, people laughing in pubs, and bright lights shining from every shop. But in the middle of all this, Ayan, a young man in his early 20s, stood still. His hands were buried deep inside his old jacket, his head slightly bent and his eyes filled with exhaustion. He had just finished a long shift at a warehouse in East London, where he worked to earn enough money for rent and food. Ayan had come to the UK with dreams bigger than the skyscrapers of Canary Wharf. He imagined a life full of opportunities, where hard work would pay off, where he could study, grow, and one day build a career that would not just change his life, but also bring pride to his family back home. But reality was harsh. Every day was a battle. Rent was high, bills kept coming, and jobs were limited for someone with no experience and an accent that made him feel like an outsider. His friends back home thought he was living the London dream, but only he knew the truth. He was struggling just to survive. That evening, as he walked towards his small rented room, he thought about giving up. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should just go back, he whispered to himself. But something deep inside stopped him. A voice, soft yet powerful, reminded him of his mother's words before he left for the UK. Beta, remember, diamonds are made under pressure. If life tests you, it means you are meant to shine. Those words echoed in his heart. He clenched his fists and looked up at the tall buildings around him. No, he said to himself, I didn't come this far to quit. I'll fight. I'll find a way. That night, Ayan couldn't sleep. He kept thinking, what if there was more to life than just survival? What if he could rise above the struggles, not just for himself, but for everyone who believed in him? And that thought became the seed of a new beginning. The next morning, Ayan woke up before sunrise. The room was cold, with a small heater buzzing in the corner. He made himself a cup of tea and sat by the window. Outside, the city was still dark, but lights in the distance signaled the beginning of another busy day. This time, Ayan decided his day would be different. He opened his old laptop, the one he had brought from back home, and started searching. How to improve skills for better jobs in the UK. He discovered free online courses, motivational videos, and inspiring stories of people who had started from nothing but built successful lives through consistency and learning. One particular line from a video struck him deeply. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start with what you have, where you are, and success will follow. That became Ayan's mantra. He enrolled in free online English communication courses. After work, instead of wasting time scrolling through social media, he spent hours practicing speaking fluently. He joined evening classes in IT skills, even though he was tired after long warehouse shifts. Slowly, he began to notice progress. At work, people started recognizing his efforts. His manager, impressed by his dedication, gave him a chance to work on stock management instead of just lifting boxes. It wasn't a big promotion, but it was a sign. Things were changing. But it wasn't easy. There were days he wanted to quit. Days when people mocked his accent, or when he failed an exam he had studied hard for. Nights when he cried silently, wondering if all this effort was even worth it. Yet every time he felt broken, he remembered why he started. He reminded himself of the family that prayed for his success, the sacrifices he had made to come here, and the future he dreamed of. Slowly but surely, Ayan began to transform. Not just his skills, but his mindset. He realized that true success is not about avoiding failure. It's about standing back up every time life knocks you down. And in that realization, he took his first big step towards greatness. Months had passed. London's winter had grown harsher, and so had Ayan's struggles. His routine was simple yet exhausting. Wake up at dawn, travel an hour by bus, work a 10-hour shift in the warehouse, come back, eat the cheapest food he could afford, and then study late into the night. Every day he thought he was getting closer to success. But life had its way of testing him again and again. One evening, after finishing his shift, Ayan was called into the manager's office. His heart skipped a beat. Maybe it was good news, maybe another promotion. But instead, the manager told him something he never expected. Ayan, the company is downsizing. We can't keep everyone. I'm sorry, but your last day is tomorrow. The words hit him like a storm. He had worked tirelessly, given his best, And yet, just like that, his only source of income was gone. Walking back home that evening, the streets of London felt colder than ever. He had only a little money left in his pocket. Rent was due in 2 weeks, and he had no idea what to do next. He sat on a bench near the Thames River, staring at the shining lights of the city. In those lights, he saw 2 Londons, one of luxury and success, and one of struggle and survival. Sadly, he belonged to the second one. Tears rolled down his eyes. For the first time, he truly thought of giving up. "What am I even doing here?" he whispered. "Maybe I'm just not good enough." But then he remembered his mother's voice again. "Diamonds are made under pressure." He wiped his tears and stood up. "If London wants to break me, it will have to try harder," he said with determination. That night, instead of drowning in despair, he made a plan. He decided to apply for every possible job. Not just warehouses, restaurants, cafes, retail stores, offices, anywhere that would give him a chance. He also decided that he would not stop improving himself. If he had lost one opportunity, he would build 10 more. It was a bold decision. It was the moment Ayan transformed his pain into power. The next few weeks were brutal. Ayan faced rejection after rejection. Some employers didn't even respond. Others told him he lacked experience, and some simply said, "We'll call you," but never did. But Ayan didn't stop. He woke up every day with the same mindset. Today might be the day. Finally, after nearly 50 applications, he got a call from a small cafe in central London. They needed someone to help with serving and basic customer service. It wasn't glamorous, but it was something. On his first day, Ayan wore his best shirt and walked in with confidence. At first, he struggled. His accent made it hard for some customers to understand him. He spilled coffee once, dropped a plate another time, and even got scolded by the cafe owner. But instead of being embarrassed, he used every mistake as a lesson. He practiced greetings, learned how to serve quickly, and even improved his smile. Slowly, customers started liking him. Some would even ask for him specifically because of his polite nature. This job gave him something more valuable than money. It gave him confidence. At the cafe, he met people from different walks of life, students, professionals, even entrepreneurs. By talking to them, he realized that success in the UK wasn't about where you started. It was about how you grew. One customer in particular changed everything. A businessman who often came for coffee noticed Ayan's dedication and curiosity. One day he asked, "Young man, you work hard, but tell me, what do you really want to do in life?" For a moment, Ayan was silent. No one had ever asked him that in London. Then, with honesty, he replied, "I want to build a life where I don't just survive, but inspire others. I want to prove that no matter where you come from, you can rise." The businessman smiled. "Then start by believing that you already can." That conversation became Ayan's turning point. He realized he wasn't just working for survival anymore. He was working for his dreams. Months rolled into years. The young man who once doubted himself was no longer the same. Ayan had grown, not just in skills, but in mindset. The cafe job became more than just a paycheck. It became his training ground for life. Every cup of coffee he served, every smile he gave, every conversation he had, it built in him the qualities of patience, resilience, and communication. But Ayan wanted more. He knew deep inside that he was capable of greater things. So, after saving some money, he enrolled in a professional IT course in London. He spent evenings studying programming and digital skills, while mornings were spent at the cafe. It wasn't easy. His body was tired most days, but his mind refused to quit. There were nights when he looked at his empty bank account and wondered if he was making a mistake. But then he would whisper to himself, "This is not the end, it's just the beginning." Finally, after months of sleepless nights, he completed his course. With his new skills, he started applying for internships. Again, rejections came, but this time, Ayan was stronger. Every no only made him closer to the yes he was waiting for. And then it happened. A small tech company in London gave him a chance as a junior IT assistant. The salary wasn't big, but it was his first step into a real career. When he walked into that office on his first day, Ayan felt something powerful. He wasn't just an immigrant working in a cafe anymore. He was a professional, building a future. His dedication impressed his bosses. Within a year, he was promoted. He was no longer struggling to pay rent. Instead, he was sending money back home, supporting his family. and slowly building the life he once dreamed of. One evening, as he stood on London Bridge looking at the city lights, he smiled. This city tried to break me, he thought, but it only made me stronger. Ayaan had not just risen from the struggles, he had transformed them into stepping stones. Years later, Ayaan's name was known in his field. He had built his own small digital company in the UK, creating jobs for others who once stood where he did, confused, lost, and full of doubt. But despite his success, he never forgot his journey. He often gave motivational talks at community centers, sharing his story with students, immigrants, and dreamers. Standing on a stage one evening, facing a hall full of young people, he shared his truth. Life will test you. It will break you, crush you, and make you believe you're not enough. London tested me, just like life tests each one of us. But remember this, struggles are not the end of your story. They are the chapters that shape you into who you're meant to become. I was once jobless, broke, and hopeless. I was rejected more times than I can count. But I chose not to give up. I chose to rise. And if I can do it, so can you. Don't let your background, your accent, your failures, or your fears define you. Let your courage, your consistency, and your belief define you. The UK gave me challenges, but it also gave me opportunities. And I grabbed every one of them. So whatever your dream is, hold it close. Work for it every single day. And when life knocks you down, don't stay down. Stand up, fight harder, and tell the world, I will rise. The audience erupted in applause. Many had tears in their eyes. Ayaan's journey wasn't just his own. Anymore, it had become a light for others walking in darkness. And that was his true success.